Hello, hello, and welcome to today's workshop. I'm Tanya Lochner, for those of you who are new to me, and I'm really excited to share today's training on how to unleash the power of you in your business. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of tips on how to do this in the rest of your life as well, because when we unleash the power of who we are within us, just the natural, the true, the real, the raw, authentic us, we are able to give it or let it flow through in all of the different areas of our lives. And I'm really excited to be diving into this topic with you, because it's going into the realm of possibility, infinite possibilities. And when we can open up our frequencies to that, we can start to attract all of the different things that we desire. It's based on the law of attraction. And when we know how to calibrate ourselves and literally code ourselves for this possibility and all the opportunities that are there for us in life, that's when the real magic starts to happen. Now, just a little caveat, I do stay on a farm, an amazing dream come true that I manifested a couple of months ago. So just so that you know, there might be some background sounds coming through, like chickens crowing and birds and all kinds of interesting noises, just so that you know where that's coming from. And I'm going to share with you how I did this and really by the steps that I'm sharing with you in this training. So I'm going to jump straight in. I prepared a presentation for you so that you can follow along, and please have a pen and notepad handy so you can write down any insights or aha moments that you get. And if you stay right till the end, I've got a little surprise and a free gift for you as well. All right, so let's jump straight in. Let me just switch me off, and then you can focus on the presentation. So we are talking about how to attract more opportunities and possibilities into your life as a conscious entrepreneur. We're going to be diving into abundance, inspiration, courage, because these are the things that you require to actually have the frequencies active in you, in your vibration, in you as a person, to be able to start attracting all those opportunities and possibilities that you are looking for. And as a bonus, I'm going to be sharing with you how to tap into your intuition and to cultivate a mindset of openness and trust, which is one of those critical foundational elements that we require when we would like to open up to those opportunities and possibilities. So you're in the right place if you are a conscious entrepreneur with a desire to make an even bigger impact in the world. You have a strong message or drive that for change that you'd like to bring about in the world. You have had success in the past. So this could be in any area of your life. You've got this track record of you were able to bring success, whether you were climbing through the corporate ladder, whether you were raising children successfully, whether you were starting up new projects, whether you were successful in a different business before. So you've got some sort of track record that you actually have succeeded. And now you're at a point where you're like, I've sort of hit a ceiling. I know I was in the past, I was able to make things happen. I was able to get it done. I was attracting all these wonderful things into my life. I was driven and ambitious and I got stuff done. Now I've sort of hit this spot in my life where I'm just not moving further. I'm just not going at the speed that I used to. I'm just not going to the levels that I used to. And I'd like to move further. It's also for you if you feel like you can't break through to that next level of success. It's like you can feel it, you can envision it, you know it's there and you know it's possible, and you just don't know exactly how to break through. It's like you keep on hitting that same spot. So even if you might even be successful at this stage, it's just not the level that you know you can. It's like that next level for you. So just as a way of a bit of introduction about who I am, if you haven't met me or worked with me before, I've been working in the entrepreneurial world for more than 20 years, doing coaching and consulting. I headed up departments for 3 of the top financial institutions in South Africa. And I also studied industrial and organizational psychology with various coaching and management courses during my stint there. Since then, I've helped dozens of entrepreneurs globally to launch and grow their businesses while building 3 of my own businesses and raising 3 children. And I like to call myself the business alchemist, helping conscious coaches and visionary leaders to elevate their success in alignment with their true design. All right, so let's start off with integrity, because I feel like when we understand integrity on all the different levels, that's when we can start to calibrate ourselves to true abundance, to true attraction of the openness to the possibilities and the opportunities that are just waiting there for us. Our world is like an oyster. There is so many opportunities for us that we can take at any given moment. And it's about whether we are calibrated, whether we are sending out a vibrational frequency that we're a match for those experiences that we're calling in. And so that starts with integrity, because when we aren't in integrity, we're not able to call in those experiences in a way that feels good, that feels aligned. So maybe in the short run you can, and then in the long run you realize this is not sustainable, or it doesn't feel good, or it doesn't, somebody's taking advantage more or getting more advantage than the other party. And we'd like to make this an equitable situation. So when we attract these possibilities and these opportunities, we would like to make sure that we are doing it in a way that's for the highest good of everyone involved. So there are 5 different types of integrity. The first one is resource. And so this is in no particular order. It's just important to know that especially when we would like to attract more money and physical resources, what is our integrity around that? How do we manage that money? Are we good custodians? Do we spend well? Do we budget? Do we act responsibly? Or do we just flounder around? Does money keep coming in, and as soon as it comes in, it leaves the bank account? There's more expenses that come up. So how are we managing our money? So it's really important to be in integrity when it comes to our resources. Are we using them sustainably? Now, with this, I'm not saying that you are supposed to put everything under your mattress and never, ever use it. Just yesterday, I was chatting to a client. She's built up a wonderful big portfolio. She's got lots of money. She has recently been diagnosed with a life-threatening disease, and now she may not have more than 6 to 8 years left to live. And she made a comment of how her husband used to say to her when she saw something beautiful, and she said, "Oh, I'd love to have that." And he would say, "Why don't you get it? You actually have the money." And she'd be like, "No, no, 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 no. I'd rather save the money." And so now she's reached this point in her life, and she now possibly has a very short period of time left to live, and she's not enjoyed the fullness of what she can. So I'm not saying going into that constricted mode of not spending your money. It is important for us to have a fair exchange of give and take. What I'm saying is, when we do have that money, when we do have those resources, in all your physical resources, whether it be your home, your car, your money, all of these different resources that you have, how in integrity are you with how you are spending it? Because oftentimes we'll have this guilt about, oh, I had money at that stage and I didn't use it as well as I could, or I had like a big lump sum come in and I just spent it all. And why does that keep happening? Why can I not work with my money properly? And so that's where it really comes in to be in integrity. And if you don't know how to do it, then get the expertise, get someone to help you. And something that I can help you with as well. And we'll touch on that a little bit more as we go on in this presentation. The next type of integrity is your energy. So that is how you are putting your energy out there. We are all, if you look at it from a scientific perspective, we all have energy. We are made up of energy particles, of atoms, and what we are putting out there and what we are putting in. And so what kind of energy, how are you using your energy on a day-to-day basis? I cannot say how many times I work with slightly older entrepreneurs, so anything from, let's say, 35 to 60, and they say to me they are burnt out, they are exhausted because they actually haven't been using their energy correctly. And I'm going to be sharing a very specific modality with you that can actually help you to understand your energetic blueprint, how you are meant to work with your personal energy, and how you can use it in integrity by not over-sacrificing, overdoing, and giving more than what you are receiving back. And this links very closely to your physical integrity, and that comes down to your physical body. What are you doing with your physical body? Are you resting? Are you working too hard? Are you pushing too much? Are you making, like, if I can distinguish between the two, the energy part is more around your boundaries, your values. How are you sharing energy with others? Are you giving more and feeling guilty about it, or feeling angry about it because you are giving more and not getting back, or giving so much and it's not working out for you? Versus your physical, which is your physical body. We've got these amazing vehicles that are made for traveling and holding our souls and this incredible purpose that we have in this life. How are we treating it? Are we looking after it properly? Are we feeding and getting the right nutrition in? Are we getting enough sleep in? You know, especially as entrepreneurs, it could be so easy to just push through and just push more, where, you know, if we can really build in those proper rest cycles and rest breaks. And I've got a really amazing little gift for you at the end of this to help you to start tracking how you're using your energy and also your emotions. And we're going to dive into that in a little bit more detail. Right. The next one is your identity integrity. And I know this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs bump up against, is imposter syndrome. And who am I really? And who is the authentic self? I'd like to unlock this authentic self and be myself. And yet not a lot of us have the courage to actually do that and be that. So firstly, we either don't know who we are, which is one of the modalities I'll share with you, that how you can actually do that. Or we do know who we are. It's just about that courage to show that to the world, because we've got all of these ideas and stories that and conditioning that's happened throughout our lives that says you cannot be that in the world because you won't be accepted, or you'll be judged, or things will not work out well for you. So in my case, it was being stuck in a very long-term relationship where I had to squish myself and squash myself from being who I truly am to make the other person more comfortable, and constantly feeling like I'm not doing enough because I'm not lifting them up enough, and I'm not giving enough to the table, and not even realizing that that I'm not getting half of that back anyway. So being in integrity with who we truly are takes a lot of courage. And once you understand who you are, to get the tools, and that's often not possible to just do it by ourselves, because we don't always even see all the different layers that we've built up, the mask that we wear. And I'd like to mention something around the mask, because I don't feel that having masks or wearing masks in different situations is necessarily a bad thing. We are not meant to bare our souls to the whole world the whole time. That's not what being your authentic self is. So when we are our authentic self, it is who I am, the best of me in a particular situation. That doesn't mean in every single situation I'm going to air all my dirty laundry and share everything about who I am with everybody. There's appropriate times. And when we can learn how to tap into our intuition of what side of us to bring to light, that's when we can really bring the best of us and bring the best for the highest good in that particular situation. So don't feel bad if you're a different person with different people. It's more about knowing who the true, real you is, and being able to bring that out with confidence and with comfort and with ease and with groundedness and with from an empowered energy, rather than, oh, I better put this type of story on, and sometimes we don't even realize that that's what we're doing, to really give yourself to know that I'm intentionally choosing how I'm showing up in this particular situation, and that it's okay if it's not that other part of me for this particular situation. It's not safe, or it's not appropriate, or it's not the best for everyone involved. And then the last type of integrity is around moral integrity. And this is what we all mostly know integrity as, and that's in society, like what's the difference between right and wrong, even though I don't really believe there is such a thing as right and wrong. It's all about our perception and about our narrative and the meaning we place on things, because for one person, something's right, and for another person, it's not. So it really is just going in terms of what is your moral compass? What do you believe is the most in integrity thing to do in society? And so we obviously have some agreements and some acceptable practices that we practice in society. And I believe that at the core, as a society, we've actually developed quite good foundational intentions and structures and values that, when we live by them, really uplifts and supports and empowers each other to grow and to expand and to really build something amazing in this world. All right. So let's talk about emotions. This is such an interesting topic and something that I'm really, really passionate about, because I remember growing up that most of us were told, don't cry, don't be angry. Like the moment, and I watched this in my little 6-year-old girl, at the moment she gets hurt, somebody would pick her up and say, don't cry, don't cry. Or when I've got an autistic son, and whenever he gets angry, the first reaction would be, don't be angry. And we don't really allow ourselves to really truly feel our emotions. And our emotions actually hold a key. It's the key to where you are and who you are. It really gives you the space to express. And this is where that authentic self comes in. Who are you truly? And what is it that you are feeling in that moment? And that helps to guide you. Like, where are you? Where are you navigating? And again, there's no right or wrong. And when you can learn how to tap into your emotions and start using it as a tool. I recently went through quite a big, I'll call it a trauma. And it was a massive life event and change. And I've learned that often people in a similar situation, I've seen them fall apart, and I've seen their lives go to pieces, and they're shattered, and they really, really struggle to pick themselves up. And one of the ways that I've done, unfortunately, I've done a lot of work around my emotions and accepting them and finding appropriate ways of expressing them, is actually being able to sit and say, all right, today is a really intense, like, depression day, if I can put it like that. It's a day where I'm feeling down. I'm really feeling deep, deep, deep emotions, and I want to cry all the time. And I just feel like the whole world's against me. And just like, really, when we start tapping into everything that's gone wrong in our lives. When I accept that and I just sit with that, and I've got a couple of things that we do, and I'm gonna let me see if I can get my video on here again. I'm gonna share something here. I'm gonna stop share for a moment so I can show this to you. One of the tools that works really, really nicely is I'll put my hand on my forehead and I'll literally focus on what that emotion is. So be it anger, be it frustration, whatever the case may be, is I'll close my eyes if it's possible. Sometimes I'm driving, so it's not possible to close my eyes. I'll just place my hand on my forehead, and it actually, what it does is it brings the focus to your to the front part of your brain, which is rational thinking, and as you're able to process that emotion through the body, and the brain helps to just calm it down. So give that a try next time you feel a really, really intense emotion coming up, where you can actually just help your, and especially if you don't have the space where you can just go sit down and really relax and really just let it work through. So like yesterday, I was having a really emotional day, and I was able to just, like, I do my best crying in the car. So I was just able to drive and just let those emotions flow through me and cry and just feel them. And they shifted through because I didn't resist them, because what's that saying? What we resist persists. And so when we do that, we don't allow the emotions to work through. So let me go back to sharing. Okay, so emotions can be this really, really powerful tool once we learn how to leverage it and what to do. And again, if you'll stay till the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you a free gift of how you can start tracking your emotions. We actually go through certain cycles, and especially the modality that I'm going to be sharing with you, we can really use your emotions to figure out what cycles and where you are in that cycle. So you can start to do a little bit of planning and also know how to make certain decisions. And it's a really fascinating topic once you start to understand your emotions and how to leverage them. And it helps us to be more balanced and healthy human beings when we actually work with our emotions, when we resist them, when we suppress them, when we refuse to actually tap into them, that's when it's almost like an octopus. When you push the octopus under the water, then 8 tentacles pop up elsewhere. And that's what happens in our lives. It manifests as disease, dis-ease in terms of, it could be physical illnesses, it could be conflict in your life, it could be frustration, it could be not being able to focus and think, or like I said, physical manifestations in our bodies, all kinds of different illnesses. And we don't often link that back to, it's actually an emotional state. Often when we look at older people, when they start to slouch quite badly, a lot of times those people have had a lot of bitterness in their life, because those emotions literally start to leach from the calcium in the bones, and that starts to pull them into they go into this constricted body posture. And if you look at people who don't have that body posture, go back and see, like, what kind of emotional journey have they had throughout their lives? Because oftentimes, if you're familiar with the work of Louise Hay, how our bodies are reflecting the different emotional states and the thoughts that we are thinking throughout our lives. Okay, so let's talk about mindset. What is mindset? Let me go one step back here. So mindset to me is really a combination of 3 things. That is your beliefs, your narrative, and your intuition. Mindset isn't purely just think yourself into the right direction, because if it was that easier, we would probably be doing that quite a lot more. I always believed having the right attitude, whether you've got the right knowledge, technical knowledge, or experience, is not as important as having the right attitude. That if you've got the right attitude, you can learn those things, you can get the right support, you can get the help. So what is a belief? A belief is really a thought that you keep thinking over and over and over. So the first thing to realize is, what am I thinking on a constant basis? And this, oftentimes it helps having somebody reflect that back to you. When I work with my clients, most of the time, especially if I've worked with them a little bit longer, so anything between 3 and 6 months, I can start to pick up patterns. Sometimes I've got a specific session that I do with clients where, when we focus on language and narrative, which is the next point, we can very quickly pick up those patterns of what are the stories that we're telling ourselves, because those stories they're very closely linked to those thoughts that we keep thinking over and over. And so then we start to believe ourselves, because the brain cannot distinguish between whether it's reality or not. So there's no such thing as, oh, I imagine that I can have this life. The brain believes that that is what it is, and it will immediately, so the brain is a loyal servant. It will immediately start looking in your environment for proof that that is possible. So when it comes to manifesting, we have a couple of very specific actions and tasks that we take, so that we make sure we give that brain enough proof that it's possible, and it will start extracting from your environment those possibilities and opportunities. So understanding the mechanism of that and how powerful it can be when you become aware of the stories that you are telling yourself. And one of the practices that I do quite often is, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll say to myself, I'm worthy. I'm worthy because I exist. Because we often feel like we have to work hard to deserve it. We have to work hard to achieve success. And it's something that I grew up with. My father came from the military, and he would be like, the harder you work, the more you stay in line, the more guarantee you'll have of success. And unfortunately, it didn't always translate that way. So I always used to joke and say, if hard work was all it takes, I was the queen of hard work. And when we look at human design, I'm a generator, so I'm able to work really, really hard. And I used to, in the corporate world, put in all those hours of working evenings and weekends. And I did climb the corporate ladder, and I also sacrificed a big chunk of my health, of my relationships, and getting there. And so just simply, it didn't pay off. The hard work, it did to an extent. What paid off more was actually using my natural gifts, talents, and abilities in the best way possible. And I'll share a little bit about that when we get to our modalities that can help you really tie this all together. Because without even knowing, I did it unconsciously. And now that I've learned how to leverage it more consciously, it's made a massive impact in how I show up in the world, how I feel, and how other people perceive me. So that narrative is really a critical piece. when we tell ourselves the same story over and over and becoming aware of what story, and then the thoughts keep spinning around, it's the same story looping over and over, and we start believing that story. And I even have a coach who constantly catches me out, and she'll be like, okay, I hear you going back into that story again. Do you really believe that about yourself? And I'll be like, oh, okay, here comes, that was the victim mode. I was getting stuck in that particular story. So it really helps. I help my clients often to just identify those patterns. What are the beliefs and what are the stories that we keep telling ourselves, because we often not even aware of them. And then there's a third piece to this mindset piece it's not just connected to the brain. It affects a lot of how we think and how we do as well. And that is our intuition. We have this innate sixth sense, and it's not just moms or women who have it. Everybody has an incredibly strong intuition. So that gut feeling. For men, it's usually the gut feeling, and for women, it's often that sixth sense or intuition. We have an ability. We actually sit with whole being intelligence. We often cut ourselves off from the neck down, because we have in the Western world come to highly prize our brain capacity. If we look at neuroscience and how there's a lot of focus on how the brain works, we actually sit in, and if you look at some of the Heart Math Institute's research around the brain-like cells, we've got 40,000 brain-like cells in our heart area, which actually perceives first before the brain. So whatever experience is happening around you, and it comes back to the energy exchange, all of us are energetic beings, and we give off some type of energetic signature vibration. So your heart actually picks up on that first and then sends it to the brain. The brain translates it, creates a story around it and a thought and a belief around it, and then you act in accordance to that. So if we can start to learn to really tap into that intuition of what's right for me and how does life flow for me, it makes an incredible, incredible difference. When we can start to flow through life rather than pushing through life, because you're in your intuition and you are so in tune with the right timing and with the right people. I've had those days when I've done my groundwork, and meditation is one of my favorite tools to do that, to calibrate my energy for the day, where oftentimes things will just flow. I just intuitively know to go here, call, then take that step. Like my day would just flow, where when I over plan my day, often I run into things that doesn't work out exactly the way that I've planned it to, because there's too many unknown factors and too many unknown pieces in this world. And again, there's so much scientific research to back this up. When we look at how connected we are, people being able to think the same thoughts, and from a human design perspective, it's one of those things. A lot of us have open crown centers, energy centers at the top of your head, and you're able to pick up other people's thoughts and ideas and questions. And we are all constantly walking around trying to figure out how this wonderful thing called life works and how to get things done better. And so once we can really tap into that intuition, it can make an incredible difference. And I've seen this, translating this into the business space. I've seen that when we combine these three things, when I really pull together what I believe, the story that I tell myself, and tapping into my intuition about when the right time is to act on certain things and what to include, I've started working with a much higher quality type of clients who are eager to work with me, who are eager to implement the work that I give them to do, or the homework I give them to do, or the work that they do on themselves. And the money flow is better when it comes to those clients. So it's not, people are not scrambling around for money. They actually flow. They have the flow. It's in alignment a lot more of the time. And so also knowing when it's time to let go of certain clients or certain pieces of our businesses. And so that's really what comes together under the umbrella of mindset for me, is really being able to pull together those three different areas. And that's what gives us resilience in business and in life. Because if you don't have resilience, you could have all the knowledge, all the support, all the experience, If you don't have that resilience piece, you will fold under the challenges and the changes that come up. And especially as a business owner, they will come up, curveballs all around. And once you can learn how to really deal with those curveballs, if you have that resiliency, that natural resilience, and you can actually, it's like a muscle, you build it up. And the stronger your muscle, the easier you're going to navigate all the changes. That's just become our norm these days. Now, this is one of my favorite topics. Focus, focus, focus. There's only one type in human design. There's 5 different types. In human design, for those of you who are not familiar with it, it's a wonderful, it's almost like a profiling tool that brings together various different modalities to help you understand more about who you are, how you operate, how you work with your energy, what your purpose is, your life lessons that you are meant to learn, your challenges that you're going to be experiencing, how you are meant to make money, all those kind of things. It's just a really, really wonderful, comprehensive tool. And in terms of that, there's only one type that is meant to multitask. I always say to my clients when I do readings for them and I find out that they're a manifesting generator, which is one of the types, I say, you are the only type that is allowed to do multitasking. The rest of us are meant to be focusing on one thing at a time. That doesn't mean like I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, I've got all these different roles that I play and all of these different pieces that are happening in my life. I'm one of those multi-pet owners. I've got horses and cat and dog and birds, and we even have a little rescue chicken at the moment. He's almost a week old little chick. And so there's lots of things happening. So it doesn't mean that I won't have all of these different pieces, because obviously it's not possible to pause all the different areas of our lives. It is, however, training yourself to focus on a specific thing at that specific time and realizing that what you focus on will expand. And I'm going to share a quick exercise with you. Some of you may have experienced this with me before. So if you are sitting in a room, I'd like you to look from the one side of the room and just go around looking all around you from the one side to the other side of the room and take in as much detail as you can as you're looking around the room. And I'll give you just a moment to do that. And I'm going to do the same on this side. All right, so once you've done that, please close your eyes and just take a moment to get a sense of what your room feels like. It's most probably a familiar room, but just get a sense, what does your room feel like? All right, now we're going to do this again. So again, look from one side of the room to the other side of the room. This time I'd like you to focus on anything that is cold and hard. Just let your eyes naturally fall to anything around the room as you look from one side to the next, anything that is cold and hard. And I'll do the same. All right, and then come back to center and just close your eyes again. And I suspect this time you'll have a different sense of your room. Just take a moment to feel, what does your room feel like right now? All right, now we're going to do it one more time. So open your eyes, look from one side of the room right around to the other side of the room, and this time focusing on anything that is soft and warm. So soft and warm, just let your eyes naturally fall. Anything soft and warm, doing the same here. And just coming back to center, closing your eyes, and I suspect you'll have, again, a different sense of your room. So you can open your eyes again, and I suspect, or just to highlight that, or ask yourself, have you moved positions? Has anything in your room been changed? Has any furniture moved around? What happened in that experience as you were focusing on different elements of your room, and how did it affect how you were feeling as you were looking around the room? This is one of the wonderful exercises that I learned in a modality called DNA Light Up by Melanie Pledger. And it's just one of those really amazing tools that helps us to realize that our brain will automatically go and find the things that we are focusing on. So I remember back when I wanted to get pregnant, I just started seeing pregnant ladies everywhere and stroller ads and nappies. And it's not that there was more of that in my environment. It's just that my brain was so focused on getting pregnant that I was just picking up on those particular things in my environment. So this is one of the critical pieces when we would like to attract more possibilities and opportunities, is to focus on those, very intentionally focus on those particular possibilities and opportunities that we are looking for. That doesn't mean that we have to know the how. What is important is to be clear on the what. What is it that you desire? Because oftentimes, some call it giving out mixed signals, because we'll be like, oh, I want that, no, I want that, no, I want this. I'm focusing on everything that isn't working or hasn't worked in the past. And so this is really important for you to understand, is when you learn the power of your focus, what are you focusing on, and automatically start picking up more on those things, and you start to leverage it, you're going to start creating like a whole momentum, because the more you focus on it, the more your brain's going to pick on it, the more you're going to start attracting those particular experiences into your life. So really, if you think about it, our thoughts create our reality, because two people could be in the very same room. I often go back to how my sister and I were raised. We grew up in the exact same home, exact same parents, exact same layout. We even shared a room. We had the same, my mom sometimes bought the same type of clothes for us. So we had a very similar outer world and environment. Her interpretation of how she grew up is very, very different to how I interpreted our growing up. So I took certain things because I focused on certain ways that my dad used to talk or my mom used to act, and I created a story out of that. Her being in the exact same situation created a very different story out of that. And I remember specifically when I found out at the age of 26 that I was adopted by my dad, I went to go and find my biological father. And at the time, it was quite a jarring experience, because obviously he didn't know that I would come and look for him 26 years later. And so for me, it was a big experience around, rejection again, and who am I really? Like, I felt like the carpet was ripped up from under me. Where to my sister, she thought this was a fairy tale story. She gets to have this new, different dad who's probably going to sweep in and create a whole beautiful life for her. So it's interesting how we have our different perceptions of a situation. And when we can start to leverage and understand, where does that perception come from? Where did that story generate from? And we can start focusing on the things that we really are looking for. And we can get crystal clear. You can have multiple things on your manifesting list. Just be super clear about it. Don't be ambiguous about it. I want to get well. Oh, I don't really want to. Oh, I'm so tired all the time. And oh, it's so hard to get well. And oh, I've got to probably eat a lot better and exercise a lot more. So we like it's because then energetically what we're saying is actually, I don't want to do all those things. So yes, I'd like to get well, or maybe I don't, because this is now all an energetic conversation happening. Because maybe I don't feel like I want to follow the specific how to get to that outcome. I'd like to get a man. I don't like online dating, so I'm probably not going to get a man because I don't want to go that specific route. So it's really about being crystal clear and then focusing on that and build that. It starts creating energetic momentum once we focus in that way. All right, so here's a little journal prompt for you that you can use your pen and notepad for. What have you been focusing on, and what narrative do you keep repeating in your head about it? So whether it's about money, whether it's about your business, what type of clients you're working with, whether it's about why you are hitting a specific income ceiling or only able to enroll a certain amount of clients at a time, or getting specific types of clients, or whether it's the kind of people that you're attracting in your life, or the kind of health issues that you're experiencing. What are you saying to yourself about it? Okay, I'll give you just a few moments to write down the question, and then go and spend some time on this later, whether it's this evening or tomorrow morning early. Just spend some time really getting clear about what are you actually focusing on, because whatever it is, you are creating more momentum around it, and you're creating more of that in your life. And initially, I'll be honest about this, initially it takes quite a bit of practice and reminding to remember, because we're so conditioned. If we look at the news always has some drama or negativity to it. And the way we talk about something is like, people will do 9 things right. If they do 1 thing wrong, we'll focus in on that 1 thing. It's just how we are conditioned and we've taught ourselves to be. And so if we can start to just be aware of that, and then say, okay, let me start with finding 5 things that went well in my life today. If that's what you'd like to do, you'd start to like think more positively, then start in that way. All right, so what have we covered today? We've really covered, let me go one back. So we've spoken about how your focus creates your reality. We've spoken about what your mindset is and how that influences what you are attracting into your life. We've spoken about the role that your emotions play, because they literally start attracting more of those experiences into your life. So we have this incredible magnetic monopole in the middle of our heart that attracts the things that we are desiring to us, and our emotional state informs that. And we've also spoken about the different types of integrity. So what do we do about this? And this is something that I cover in my program, my one-on-one program called Ascend. It's a 6-week program, and we use various different modalities to address this. And I believe, having gone through this myself, this is one of the best ways to really reprogram yourself, unlock your own personal abundance codes, because we have those abundance codes in our DNA, and understanding what they look like and where they are and how to unlock them. Not just the physical abundance like money, of course, that's definitely part of it. Also abundance in terms of energy and time. So one of the first modalities I use, one of my favorite modalities, is human design, because it helps us to understand who we are. It helps us to understand our energy and how to work with it. It helps us to understand how we learn, what our life purpose is, what our soul purpose is, what we came here to do and learn, and how to unlock all of that. I then look at strategy and structure. I've got more than 20 years experience working with entrepreneurs in various different aspects of how to get the right strategy. It really is my superpower to be able to see the strategic direction for a person to take in their business and their life, and then put the right structure in place that's aligned to how they are designed. So once you know who you are and how you are meant to operate, not the conditioned version that you've been taught or have told yourself you are supposed to be. You really find the way that you are designed, and you tap into that energy, and then you design your offers, what type of clients you work with in alignment with that. That's when your true power comes to light. The third element is energetic alignment. So that's really knowing, again, who you are, knowing how you're supposed to work with your energy, and then being able to go and implement that in your life. So learning, what are your rest cycles? What are your sales cycles? What are your structure and planning cycles? When are you meant? Because yes, we actually have those in a month, not just women. We have these various different cycles in which our energy most supports, whether it's content creation, whether it's selling, whether it's launching, whether it's actually resting, giving yourself permission, because there's a certain time of the month that you are actually supposed to be resting. And being able, and I do a lot of energetic healing and clearing here, because we have these old patterns, and they've caused a lot of trauma and hurt and pain when we've been out of alignment with who we are for so long. We've been out of integrity with who we are for so long. And being able to spot those patterns and then realign them just helps the magic to unfold. We then put some mindset practices into place. So besides the human design, which gives you, I'm going to give you some wonderful journal prompts around that. So journaling could be one of them. Definitely meditation is one of my tools. And I do have some of my clients who say, oh, I don't do meditation. I start you off in a very simple, easy way. I've got some easy ways to get around that whole resistance, especially if you're a manifesting generator in human design, where you're not able to sit still and just focus on meditating. There's different ways to meditate. And also, again, it depends on what type you are in human design. And then finally, the accountability and support piece. So that's where I bring the best of who I am to facilitate and help you unlock what's within you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I am going to use my gift of intuition to be able to tell you what the possibilities are and how to open up to that. And so even if you don't use my services, if you can use this framework, so firstly, know who you are. Design a strategy and a structure around that, not around how the cookie cutter world tells you and the marketing gurus tell you to do it. Align your energy, get your energy right to help you, like get your head in the game. And it's like not just your head, get your whole body, your whole being intelligence in the game, and have that accountability and support, because we just simply not able to see what we don't see about ourselves. It requires somebody else to just notice and see the patterns, hear the language, and reflect it back in a supportive and uplifting way to say, you know what you're doing. Here's where you're getting stuck, and here's how, here's a couple of questions, here's some ways, here's some tools, and I draw on various different tools in terms of how I help my clients to just release that resistance and to break through to that next level of success that they're looking for. All right, I'd like to just share to happy clients feedback, just so that you can sort of get a sense of when they work with me, this is the sort of results that they get. And I would love to help you achieve the same results. For this particular lady, I helped her to work out her whole webinar and how she was going to launch it. And we did that in line with her energy and what she wanted to achieve. And I really loved what she said, is she felt like someone truly got the value of her work. And this is what I often see in the space of energy healers, of intuitive advisors. People don't always realize, or they're not always able to communicate the value of their work. And that is something that I help you to unlock. And when we look at your human design chart, we're actually able to see the messaging that you are meant to use in your business as well. This is also one of my favorite clients, and also now a trusted friend whom I deeply, deeply adored. And she also helped me to unlock that intuitive side. So not just bringing the strategy and the structure side, the experience that I've had for so long, to really just fully bring out the intuitive side and knowing when to help clients and how to help clients in terms of unlocking that wonderful abundance that they have in their business. All right, so what next? Now that you've got these amazing steps and you know, hopefully you've got some clarity on some of the things that, and I know a lot of this would not be new to you, it's just bringing it all together and connecting the dots to know that, okay, like once you know who you are, not just having the theory, being able to implement that into practical steps. That's where I come in. And I'd like to offer you a free virtual coffee chat where we can just get together, tell me and share a little bit more about where you are, and then I can help you with that and tell you, just like map out your next steps. So whether it's working with me or not, let's just get clear about where to next and what are the specific areas that you're getting stuck in. And maybe even I'll definitely share at least 1 to 3 practical tips of what you can start implementing straight away. And then we can talk about whether my program is a fit for you and exactly how it works. And yeah, whether that's the right next step for you. All right, so as promised, for the live Q&A was only for people attending this workshop live. So this is the replay that you are getting. For those who have stayed till the end, I would like to share with you my cycle tracker. It's a free tracker that will help you to tap into what your energy cycles are, your emotional cycles, and also some practical rituals that you can do on a daily basis to start really getting into that abundance and productivity mode. And I've really found that understanding your cycles and being able to tap into them more, and we use the 4 elements. So we use the elements of wind, air, water, and fire as wonderful analogies of how our energy flows and changes and how we can really leverage that to an amazing level. So if you'd like to have that free cycle tracker, all you need to do is to actually reply to the email on that you got this workshop on. It will also be in the link below this video that you can click on that and get your free cycle tracker. And I'd love to hear your feedback on which of these areas, so please comment below, which of these areas do you feel you can work on or you would like a little bit of help with. I'd be happy to support you with some practical tips and steps. So please let me know what is going on for you. Which of these areas are you getting stuck on? What have you tried? What have you done in the past and has potentially not worked? Maybe you know that these are the particular things that you're getting stuck on and you would just like to know, what next? How do I do this? So thank you for joining me. I hope this has been really valuable and supportive. And I look forward to hearing from you how you are unleashing the power of you by using your focus, using your emotions, being all of who you are, bringing the best of you to the table and bringing about this massive change and impact in the world just by being you. Thank you for joining me. And here's to being you, the extraordinary version of you. Lots of love.